We are at the seaside. We've made it to the coast. We are just in a little city or a big town called Fano on the Adriatic coast, and we plan to follow the coast down for as long as we can. We found on the west coast of Italy it was a little bit harder because it was so built up, but in the winter everywhere was a ghost town, so it was a little bit uneasy. So we'll see how the east coast goes. We found some free airs a little bit inland to stay in, and we'll probably visit the coast in the day and then drive a little bit inland to stay. There's the toll road goes all the way down the coast, followed by the railway and then all the little provincial roads as well. So it's a little bit tricky to stay right on the coast, but we'll see how we get on. We'll keep you updated on the Adriatic coast of Italy. Tonight we're staying on a free air 20 minutes from the coast. We found this to be a safer, quieter, more reliable system for overnight parking. This place was completely free. It had water, a water dump. It also had some pretty stunning views. It even had some small bins and free electricity. So we were looking last night at what to do today, and we were looking at heading down to Ancona and doing some hiking in some woods there with some nice views of the beach. But we kind of woke up this morning and we were feeling pretty tired, so we've decided to have a bit of a rest day. So we're going to chill in the van, play some games, maybe take a short walk into the fortress town just up the road. And then tomorrow we're going to have a reset day where we'll do our shopping, washing and maybe get some fuel. And then we'll get back at it with some adventures on the following day. We've been going pretty gung-ho for 2 weeks now, all the way down through France, Switzerland, Belgium, all the way down through Italy. We're at halfway down Italy at the moment, so we're going to have a rest day, chill out, relax. We're on this free air, and it doesn't look like it has a time limit, so we'll stay here today and maybe tonight, and then tomorrow we'll get back on and do some more things. We're taking a short walk to Mondavio, I think it's called. Mondavio, maybe? So we'll...
Mondavio.
Mondavio. Mondavio.
Mondavio.
We came across this sign that looked like it said no dogs at all. But after a quick Google Translate, it just turned out they needed to be on the lead, cleaned up after, and not allowed to be roaming free in public spaces. We might be in luck. When you're on the road and you come across a public toilet, you use it. They're never the best, and sometimes it's a bit rough, but it's better than a bush, eh? Found this small little coffee bar, and Amy headed in to order 2 espressos in her best Italian. Knowing how to order coffee in Italy is probably the only Italian we're ever gonna need. And because it was a cold Sunday in the winter, the place was pretty quiet. So we've been out for coffee a couple of times now in Italy. It seems the safe bet, and what most Italians get, is an espresso, nice and easy. If you order a cappuccino after 11 o'clock in the morning, you'll be thrown out of the coffee bar, and Italy for that matter. And if you order a latte, you'll just get a glass of steamed milk. So make sure you get a cafe latte, not just a latte.
Even then, I ordered a cafe latte the other day and got a pint of steamed milk and a shot of an espresso to put it in myself.
There's also kind of no such thing as flat white in Italy. It's kind of like an Americano with milk is your option there. Coffee's also super cheap as well. For no matter what coffee we get, whether it's espresso or Americano or a latte, whatever, it's never really more than €3 or about £2.80, so it makes days out super cheap. Today is another reset day, another week on the road, time to do another shop and another load of laundry. We found a laundrette and it looks like this one only takes cash. We've got loads of notes, but I think we're running out of small change, so we'll see if it does change. We'll figure it out. It looks like on the Google reviews it's got some English instructions, but only minimal instructions, so we'll see how we get on. Luckily when we arrived, the car park had a load of spaces and it was super easy to park the van just outside. Amy then headed in to practice her best Italian and Oro watched tentatively as Amy left. Amy's just in there finishing off the laundry and we think we might break from the chain and not go to Lidl this week. It's a little bit of a drive to Lidl and then a little bit of a drive back to where we plan to stay. So we're actually thinking of heading to a Eurospin, which is an Italian, Slovenian and Croatian supermarket. Apparently it's cheaper than Lidl. We'll see how that goes, but in terms of keeping costs low, we'll do that. There is one next to it called a Cole, which is a bit more of a local supermarket, which is going to be more expensive, but they might have more products. So we'll try the Eurospin, see if we can get everything we need, but if it's anything like Lidl, there'll be holes in our shopping that we need to fill, so we might go to the Cole as well to get those bits.
Italian laundrettes seem to be pretty self-explanatory, and even if you don't understand or if there isn't any English instructions, you can work it out pretty quickly, or there's a lovely local there to help you too. Usually you just put in the money to a separate machine, load your machine, press which number you're on, and it goes. The only bit that can be a bit funny is trying to choose what cycle to put things on. I've noticed most of the laundrettes in these kind of slightly more rural towns are cash only, even if the laundrette itself is quite modern, but they do give change. I have found the laundrettes down here a bit cheaper than they are in the UK. I think our local one in the UK cost around £8 for a wash and £4 or £5 for a dry, depending on the size of the load. Whereas here we got a wash and a dry for €8, which is absolutely incredible. And with this one that we were just in, it had the washing up products included, so you didn't need to put anything in, which I did have to get taken to the back room by a lovely Italian lady to be showing that, yeah, please don't put in any washing up stuff because we've got it in there already.
Looks like Eurospin was about the same price as Lidl last week, but I think I got more. I got some extra herbs and spices and things. So yeah, maybe Eurospin is the way forward. It had about the same amount of stuff as Lidl. When you live in such a small space, things can quickly become chaotic. But this is a week's worth of food for 2 people, and it only cost us £53. They had a pretty decent selection of fresh fruit and veg and fresh products, more so than Lidl. So we stacked the fridge and carried on. You feel like a proper tourist when you have to buy American sandwich bread. So we've arrived at a free air. This one looks pretty good. It's nice and sunny, which always helps the vibe. This area of Italy just seems to be inundated with free airs. It's really awesome. We've not actually stayed in like a roadside spot in a couple of days really, since before Venice, because there's just so many places to park for free that are safe, have good views, are nice. So yeah, enjoying the luxury of free airs. We're currently planning our route south. We might take a different route than what we had said. We were going to go down the coast, but the weather in the mountains this coming week actually looks really nice. It's warmer. There should be no snow on the roads, even if there's some in the mountains. And it's not going to be freezing overnight. So we're actually thinking about maybe taking a couple of days extra and going down through the central mountains of Italy, which we visited before and really liked, where we can do some big hikes, drink some nice wine, and work our way down that way, rather than racing down the coast. So we'll keep you updated on the plan.